and they're just like, what?
Just Justin, I'm gonna be just on you
Okay.
for a second. Rhiannon talked about a deep well,
Yeah.
a place where all this comes from.
Mm-hmm.
I know you can explain that to me. You have in the past, and you did earlier today, but tell me about the whale.
The whale.
The well.
The whale, not the whale.
The well. The well.
The
The
whale.
whale.
Well, when we started playing, I knew it was old. I knew it was important. I knew it was all those things, right? But as we just got older, there become more research. Other people are, researching, right? Because we're doing, not that we're not researching, because we absolutely were and are. But, other people are like dedicating their lives and their academic study and putting the whole, putting all kinds of time and stuff into it and have, right? And in order to play the music, you don't need none of that, right? You can just play it, right? And to me, this is the difference between like what really indigeneity is, right? So, especially as Black Americans, Afro Southerners, we have so much of our indigenous ways in us, right? In the food and the way we talk and all that stuff, the way we walk, all that stuff. But mostly we can't explain it. We just say, oh, we just do that, right? It's just how we wear our hair. This is just how we talk. This is how we suck our teeth. We just say it just is. And what gets to happen, though, when you put it together, you can say, this is why this is all the stuff that this is connected to. It's not just a personal choice that everybody decided to do, right? It is coming from this other source, right? And then we can, explain it, right? It puts the two things together. It puts the bodily experience together, like the praxis, the actual doing it, and this is what it means, right? This is what it's connected to. And that's like linking the things up together, right? And so for me, the well, from what I've learned, is like all the fiddling traditions, specifically of Fulani people out of West Africa. Listening to it, and I don't think I could have heard it if I had heard it first, if I had heard it earlier in my playing of Joe, right? Because it is it's so deeply in my ears that when I'm listening to Fiddling from Northern Ghana, I was like, there it is. That's Martinsville. That's Will Adam. I can hear it, right? But I didn't know that that's what its source was. You know what I mean? Because people are like, oh, it's primitive, it's whatever. No, it is its own aesthetic, right? It's Joe's quote-unquote scratchiness is the aesthetic of the instrument and of the region and of the thing. That's how it is supposed to sound, right? It's not a failed attempt at sounding like, white fiddlers or something like that. That's not it. It's coming from a different source, right? And so where these things meet up, right? Because you have these fiddling traditions coming from different parts of the world, meeting up in North Carolina, meeting up in Fayetteville, meeting in Charleston, meeting in Jamestown. They start to blend over into each other. And, we pick up stylistic things from wherever, right? And you certainly pick up tunes. That's what musicians do. We learn tunes. But the well is already there. And I skipped over a whole bunch of stuff, right? Because our musical lineage, right? As musicians, we have our own genealogy, right? So we learn from Joe. Joe learned from his father, John Arch Thompson. John Arch Thompson, Joe's father, learned from Imp Wright. Imp Wright learned from old Frank Johnson, right? There's our musical lineage, like here in this area, right? And so I was at a bluegrass panel. Somebody from UNC was extemporating, doing it's like, oh, this music comes from the late 19th century, early 20th century. I was like, maybe your music does, but my music, the music I'm playing, at least here on these shores, comes from the 1700s from Halifax County, North Carolina. Like, it's a direct line, unbroken. I know where your music comes from. I'm not going to speak about where your music comes from. I'm talking about what I'm going to play, and this is where this comes from, right? And so the well is deep and long, and that's only what we can trace here. Of course, it's got its very deep roots. Those people, the people who were living in the 1700s and the early 1800s, had come straight from Africa, right? It wasn't some, deep time shit, right? They were living and had come straight from there. And so what are they going to do? They're going to play the stuff that they've been playing, and no, that's what people do.
When you went to Africa, you found some tunes and what were in which instances, at what time, at what point during your journey you said, I know that.
So I didn't find any of that stuff when I was there, because I was just there as a tourist, and I was in the southern part, right? I was in Ghana, but I was in the southern part. Northern people who were there in the southern were playing banjo-like things. I have a video on my phone. I was like, yep. And then I showed him a video. I was like, I showed him a video of me playing, and he was like, yes. But I didn't go up north, which is where this music.
No, that's where I went.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, I went to the Gambia.
Let me stop. I need to.
My Gambia, which is my accounting, which is now in the Smithsonian.
Is it? Like,
Ain't that some shit? They're like, can we have one of your instruments for
like, here you go.
exhibit? I was like, here, take this one. I'll play it. Once I stop playing that, boy,
Stop.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's
I can't even tune it.
Yeah.